John Thornton here, allproblogger.com, with our special guest, Charles Fisher, once again. We're going to break down some NFL draft talk, finish it off with some Cincinnati Bengals talk, of course. But Fish is about 3 weeks from the draft. Tomorrow, I guess, April 28th, first round of the draft. Guys are finishing up their pro days. People are starting to get their medical evaluations. I think the players that are injured got to go back up to Indianapolis to get checked out soon. What's going on in the NFL war rooms right now? The scouts coming back off the road, the coaches coming back off the road. 3 weeks left. Can you tell us what's going on?
Actually, right now, no one's probably in the offices. Still probably doing pro days, still gathering information, times. In about a week, most teams will start reporting and start to finish off their draft board. This time right now is when they're having a lot of visits with a lot of the players. But what you don't know is, like, most of the players this time of year, they don't meet with the scouts. They're meeting with a lot of the head coaches, a lot of the position coaches, so they can get a feel for the position coach, get a feel for what this guy might know on the board, how smart he is, how quickly he'll adapt and adjust and be able to pick up the system. So right now, a lot of the scouts are at home, but the general managers and the heads of all the departments and then all of the coaching staff, they're taking visits right now for the most part where they, get a chance to actually meet the guy again on their own ground, on their own turf, and get a chance to go through some things with these players.
So, all right, let's dig into that a little more. Now, who sets these things up? Is it like a GM will say, I really like this guy. Okay, Jay Hayes, the Bengals, I want you to go see Nick Fairley. I want you to go work him out of his school. Is this something that's coming from the GM because they're thinking about taking this player, or are they trying to go and just work out a couple of guys at that position?
Well, oddly enough is, you never know what they're thinking. Sometimes it's a smokescreen when they might have a guy visit and they might not really have interest in the guy, but they bring him up just to throw everybody else off. But the majority of what is going on right now is when they feel like maybe they don't have enough information on a guy. They want more information on a guy. They want to get to know him a little closer. They want the position coach to be able to get in there and dig into the guy a little bit more. So, the general manager, the scouts, the coaching staff, they'll come up with a list of guys that maybe they feel like, this guy's a junior. We don't have enough information on him. Because, right now everyone's scrambling to find out as much character about these juniors as they can. And what's odd is, during the year, scouts can't ask, teams about their players if they're a junior. You go in there and you talk to the guys about their seniors, but Cam Newton, it was weird that we seen that report that Cam Newton was, not punctual and his smile was phony and, all this stuff that one draft publication put out there. But the strange thing about that is, where would he ever get that information? Because at this time of the year, you don't have all the information on the juniors. That's why you bring them in. That's why Buffalo had Cam Newton in. That's why the Panthers bring him in and sit down and have dinner with him. And, no one in Carolina is going to badmouth Cam. I mean, not Carolina. No one in Auburn is going to badmouth Cam Newton. So where would you get that kind of information from? That this guy's punctual, not punctual, and he's not doing what he's supposed to do? Where would you get that from? So right now, this is what you're trying to dig into. The juniors mostly. They get more character on them, get to know them. The general manager, the coaching staff, if you pinpoint a couple guys that you think you want to get to know a little bit better, get a little bit more information on, or see how he acts in certain settings and how he knows what, kind of system you run, that's what they're doing right now.
So, all right, you just brought up an interesting point. Like when you went out on the road, say you go into Ohio State, they got a few seniors you want to look at. They got, they got some juniors that everybody says, okay, well, Beanie Wells a couple years ago, it's general consensus that he's going to come out early. You can't actually go in there and scout him. I mean, you can keep your eye on him, but you can't. Can you go and ask questions, or is that like taboo within the
that's taboo. Absolutely taboo. Not on the protocol at all. I work for a team who actually went out and scouted juniors so we can get an advantage over everyone else. But when we say scouted, that was strictly on the talent. If I'm at Ohio State and I ask Jim Tressel about Beanie Wells, I might get kicked out of the school and may not ever be able to allow to come back because they want to keep their juniors. Every team in America want to keep their juniors in their team. You know, who wouldn't want to have Nick Fairley and Cam Newton back? Who wouldn't want to have Beanie Wells back for another year? So that's totally taboo. When you go into school and you see a junior, even if you know he's coming out, that's not something you ask about. You know, when you finally can get the information and catch up is this time of year. And, you know, typically right around combine time, once the guy declares, then you'll start making phone calls. Maybe you'll make a visit back to the school. And now it's fair game to talk about a guy because now he's declared eligible. He's no longer a junior. He's draft eligible. So then you talk to the coaches about him or the staff or whoever else you talk to about him. Up until that point, there's no information really about these guys.
So, you know, when guys get back off the road, when, like you said, once all of these personal, when these position visits are over, you know, the school workouts, you know, coaches get back in, what happens then? I mean, do you guys go over the board and set your board at that point?
Well, a lot of times what happens is the general manager will have the scouts all in a room, and that's what you've been doing for the whole year, setting your draft board. But right now what also happens is the general manager will have the coaching staff actually grade players as well. So then they'll have two different lists. You know, they'll have the scouts, the general manager, the directors list, and the regular draft board, and then you have the coaches list of guys they think that they would like to work with, or they remind them of someone, or they see something. And then you try to mix those lists together because, you know, a lot of general managers don't want to draft a player if the coaching staff don't want to coach the player. So you want everyone to feel comfortable. Eventually everyone sits down and you iron out the differences of what you see and what they see. Coaches are coaches, so they don't have the total talent of what scouts do. But, you know, scouts are scouts. That's what they're paid to do. So you try to blend it and mix it and try to figure out a way to come to a compromise of what this player is actually going to be and what the coaches see and what the scouts see, and mix it together and come up with a updated draft board.
All right, couple more things. You're starting to see a lot of movement on the mock drafts. Mel Kiper may change his up. Todd McShay may change his up.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, everybody's doing it. This is really this is entertainment almost. But why does that happen in NFL draft rooms, or is this just in the mock draft world?
The weird thing about it is you'll see Mel Kiper, I think like 5 weeks ago after Cam Newton's workout. He's my top player in the draft. He might go #1, you know, overall, and he's my top quarterback. And then 3 weeks later, you know, Blaine Gabbert's my #1 quarterback. You know, right now is a lot of guessing. Not what my assumption is that these draft gurus, they go out, they talk to people, and they get a feel for what everyone thinks. You know, as a talent evaluator, like I like to say I did as a job, which I did. You know, you already know what that guy's talent is. You don't want to go up and down, up and down, up and down, back and forth, because you'll get dizzy. The draft board is already set. After the combine, you come back and reset it, but you don't go up and down with the guy unless he had a terrible interview, a terrible workout. If the guy's protocol is exactly what you thought he was at the combine, then he stays what you thought he was off the tape. A lot of this is TV stuff. ESPN runs draft stuff for like 5 weeks now. Obviously, you got to have something to put on TV, but there's no way possible that all of a sudden Cam Newton goes from your first quarterback to your third quarterback back to your second quarterback. You know, it's just ludicrous. It's not what the draft is all about or how evaluations go.